We're also hearing now about a fire in the Grass Valley area. Where is it? It's near Sutton Way and Idaho-Maryland Road. The Highway Patrol is saying it is a large fire, and they're asking people to avoid the area. So it just goes on and on and on. And we just had a meeting a little bit ago, Brandon, and we're like, okay, we know about Natomas. We know about what's going on in Vallejo, certainly the Kincade fire, but between now and the next couple of hours, we're going to have a couple of crews ready to go someplace we don't know about yet.
Well, and here we're now talking about the Sierra foothills, and that's an entirely different environment, right? We've got the sort of scrub brush and oak that we've been seeing in these sort of more coastal ranges. You get up into the Sierras, now we're talking about pines, we're talking about firs underneath those pines, and that is where we have that 100-year fuel problem that we like to talk about in the Sierra, where we have not done a very good job of letting fire do its natural thing, and we've got just basically a big bonfire that's sitting up there ready to burn in a lot of these communities in the Sierra. That is the reason why so much of the Sierra foothills have been part of these blackouts that PG&E has been planning, because they don't want to spark something up there.
All that fuel.
The fact is, they haven't shut down every last little thing, as we've seen some incident reports recently with that Kincade fire, and other things can cause fires on a day like this. We've got wind gusts, 80, 90 miles an hour in some places, and if you get a cigarette butt or a spark in the wrong place, that thing's going to be off and running, and you're not going to be able to do a lot about it.
There you go, like you're seeing here. All right, Tracy, we just teed it up for you. We're talking about the wind gusts.
I know, you guys forgot all about me.
No.
Not at all.
We put it on the tee.
I'm about to say, this is a weather story, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, the weather, this is definitely all about the winds, and the winds are definitely aiding in the opportunity for fire weather development. Here's a look outside toward downtown Sacramento. And the smoke has definitely been moving in. We had the Natomas fire. We're also dealing with the fire in Vacaville, and of course we have the fire in Vallejo. So our air quality is going to be something that we're watching throughout the day today and possibly into tomorrow. It is 72 degrees outside, winds out of the north at 29 miles per hour. So we do have some significant winds building into the valley. Also, temperatures more seasonal today. Did you notice the difference? Well, that's the difference a cold front can make. And cooler, drier air filtering in back behind it. 9% relative humidity. We are extremely dry. So from 72 in Sacramento to 72 down in Stockton and Modesto, 70 in Marysville. And look at those cold temperatures in Truckee and South Lake Tahoe, just above freezing, 36 to 37 degrees respectively. So here's a look at the 24-hour temperature change. 14 degrees cooler in Auburn, 10 degrees cooler in Marysville, 16 degrees cooler in Fairfield. So we're cooler back behind the passage of that front, but we also got some gusty winds back behind the passage of that front, and that is the problem. Dry air again from 9% in Sacramento to 11% in Auburn. We're going to be dry for quite some time, and again, take a look at some of the peak wind gusts we've seen. 49-mile-per-hour winds gusting in Sacramento, 64 through the Delta here in Fairfield, 40 in Marysville, 44 in Stockton, 33 in Auburn. Just in case you're wondering, I have some even higher than that. Hillsburg Hill coming in at 93-mile-per-hour winds gusting since midnight. Hawkeye, which is also just near the Hillsburg area, that's 76-mile-per-hour winds gusting. Travis Air Force Base, 64. Yolo Bypass at 51 in Auburn at 33 miles per hour winds, again gusting since midnight. Here's a look at the weather timeline. So temperatures are respectively closer to seasonal highs this time of the year. Lower 70s to the mid 60s to the upper 50s coming in 9 o'clock tonight. Take a look at the winds. Winds still out of the north around 22 mile per hour winds around 5 o'clock, close to 20 from 6 to 7 o'clock, and that sunset coming in at 6:12. This is our Futurecast model. It kind of shows you what we're expecting for some of the higher wind gusts, and I'm using the colors to tell the story. Anytime you see purple, that's winds gusting up to 50. Anytime you see red, that's close to 40. So that tells you the story, right? Foothill locations, winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour, possibly around 2:30 in the afternoon. And here on that coastal mountain range, from 40 to 45 mile per hour winds are possible. And then as we move into tonight, take a look at the foothills. Plumas, Sierra, Nevada, Placer counties, you're going to be looking at the opportunity for a significant amount of time, a long duration of time, with the opportunity for winds gusting 50 miles per hour or higher. As we move into Monday morning and Monday afternoon, the winds will finally begin to subside. And unfortunately, we will turn our attention to Tuesday, where we could be looking at another wind event. So I tried to break it down for you. So I'm going to go, where are we going to see the strongest winds? What type of winds are we expecting? And I'm really going to do a roundabout for different areas in our viewing area. So Healdsburg, that's very close to where we had the Kincade fire. Strongest wind time frame from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock tonight. Sustained winds will drop down to around 15 miles per hour, but wind gusts will still be ranging from 20 to 35 miles per hour. For Vallejo, still looking at that time frame from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Sustained winds there a little bit higher, 30-mile-per-hour winds sustained with wind gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour. That's going to be until 7 o'clock tonight until those winds die down. Sacramento, of course, we have that fire in the Natomas area. Strongest wind time frame for us, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the evening. Sustained winds around 30 miles per hour with winds gusting from 50 to 55 miles per hour. So we do still have about 2 to 3 more hours to go before winds start to back off. Stockton, from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening, you're looking at sustained winds around 25 miles per hour with winds gusting from 40 to 45. And Placerville, near Highway 50 and parts of our foothill locations, you'll see winds gusting up to 35 from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the evening. So Wildfire 101, each of these locations have different types of vegetation. For the coastal mountain range, they have heavier trees. For the valley, predominantly grass. And then when you get to the foothills, they have grass, brush, and oak. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but 147 million dead trees are statewide. That is the concern. So again, Wildfire 101. September to October are the worst months for wildfire development. Fall months tend to have more wind. Of course, the Diablo, the Santa Ana winds. Lack of moisture in the vegetation, and the concern is wind-driven fires in grass, especially in steep terrain. That really brings huge problems for evacuation. So bottom line, what to expect? Steady, strong winds all day long for today. The timing also running through early Monday morning. Down trees, power lines, possible outages, your Halloween decorations, they're probably gone, right? So here's a look at that high wind event. Again, still in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. And again, we do have that red flag warning in effect until 11 a.m. on Monday. We'll finally start to see those winds starting to back off a bit, and we'll see improving conditions. But again, after that Tuesday, we could have another significant wind event. Temperatures are close to more seasonal highs and actually cooler than average as we move into Wednesday and Thursday. And then the 70s are rounding out the forecast as we head into the weekend. Brandon and Walt, it is going to be a busy day, but I think we did a pretty good job of breaking it down when those gustiest winds come in. And it looks like right now, much of our viewing area still got a long way to go.
Yeah, indeed. We're not out of the woods in so many ways, right? Tracy, you pretty much covered it all for us. Thank you so much for that.